because they're lacking certain elements or certain pieces of their business that doesn't work, right? They're not struggling because they actually need more strategy. They actually need fewer decisions. And I'm going to slow down just a bit and explain actually what I mean, because this is a pattern that I just keep seeing with the businesses that I work with. I'm Danette, business growth and operations strategist, also known as the strategy lady, and I help service based businesses grow without chaos. And I wanted to come on here for a few minutes because this right here, this too many decisions problems, is what I consider a silent killer. Let me say it plainly. A lot of businesses aren't actually stuck because they lack information. They're stuck because because I believe it's because they're drowning in options. Too many options, as a matter of fact. And when you are drowning in options, you start doing what is known as, I think they call it what, decision hopping? Yeah. You start dealing with a new offer this week, new content direction next week, a new, maybe I should pivot every other day, a new tool, a new app, a new idea, a new plan. And listen, before you know it, the business starts feeling heavy, not because you're not working, but because you're carrying too much that doesn't really belong. Here's how you know it's you and that you're doing this. You're making 40 to 50 decisions a week in your business. And trust me, I've seen it. You're not leading. You're actually managing chaos, honestly, because leadership, y'all, it's not that you need to touch everything. Leadership is I decide the direction as a leader and I build the structure. So if you're feeling like I'm doing a lot, but nothing is moving, this is usually why right here. Let me give you a quick example from the operations side, because y'all know I get all into the operations and systems. If your client onboarding is different every time, that's a decision. If your pricing changes depending on your mood, that's a decision. If your marketing changes every time you watch somebody else's post, that's a decision. And as you can see, with these types of decisions, those decisions can actually be extremely expensive. They cost time, they cost clarity, they cost consistency. And consistency, y'all, is what creates predictable revenue. And let me add something else. And if you follow me, you know I'm all about faith, right? Because to me, it really matters. Because if you're switching a lot, you're not operating in faith. But here's the situation. I believe some people confuse being busy with being faithful. But I want you to hear me clearly. Faithfulness isn't doing everything. It's not. Faithfulness is doing what you were assigned to do with order, because God is a God of order. Scripture tells us that God is not the author of confusion. So if your business is full of confusion, not the good kind, because sometimes you get a little confused because you're being stretched, but the confusion that causes you to second guess yourself, that confusion that causes you to constantly switch, constantly start over. Listen, that's not a good way to do it. It really isn't. And it's really not a badge of honor because you think you're in business that you can just be doing all of this stuff. In a nutshell, y'all, listen, that's really a signal to me. It's a signal that something needs to be simplified. And quite often we have too much going on that we can't see clear. So what do you do with all of that confusion and all of these decisions that you're allowing to cloud yourself or cloud your judgment? I'm not going to teach you a whole class here. I can do that later on, but I'm going to give you the shift that I believe you need. Instead of asking, what more do I need to add? Start asking, what can I remove without losing results? Because removal actually really creates space, and space creates clarity, and clarity creates cash. And yes, simplification will sometimes make you feel a little nervous at first because it feels like you're doing less, right? But what you're really doing is protecting the business from all that unnecessary complexity. Stop overcomplicating things. So I'm going to end the same way that I ended my post a little earlier. If your business feels heavy right now, I want you to answer this question honestly. You got to be honest. What's the one thing you're doing that you already know isn't necessary in your business? Drop it in the comments. I'm going to read them all and I'll respond to as many as I can. But I think this right here is going to be helpful for you. All right? Take care.